Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fundraising Lab's community profile feature, where we highlight a member of our Spark community. Today, we welcome Spark member Julia from Not Far from the Tree, where she's the executive director. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Matt, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. We'll pretend that we didn't already have that conversation prior to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if you could start off by sharing just a little bit about, yeah, like what got you into fundraising or the nonprofit world.
Sure. I've been in the nonprofit sector for a little over 10 years now. I've worked in many different roles for different arts organizations, and within the last couple of years, more focusing on city building and the environment. But all
Oh,
of my
cool.
work strongly, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like a big shift going from like
Yeah.
children and youth arts to this space, but I'm enjoying it and learning so much stuff every day. That's super. I like love. That's one thing I love about it. But a lot of my work really focuses on like building community, and that's something that like, I've carried around with everything that I do. I think it's like super important. And I've also had the chance to work in just different levels of fundraising, like just by being in different roles at various organizations, kind of started helping out hosting events and then putting together, like sponsorship packages. And then the best way I find to get started is like when you're cold emailing people, just trying to get like pieces of your, event sponsored. And then over the years, I've helped more so with grant positioning and applications, reviewing and editing those, and just while I'm like building a program or like running a program, like really keeping that all together when we're kind of coming up with a strategy for an application. So yeah, that's kind of just a bit about me. And currently at Not Far from the Tree, I'm taking on more of like a lead grant writer role. And so that's really exciting stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask. So your current role, you're the executive director at Not Far from the Tree. And that's correct, right?
Technically, I'm the project director because Not Far
Okay.
from the Tree is on the Makeway shared platform, but it's
Okay. Okay.
similar in role. But yeah.
And what could you give us kind of an broad overview of what Not Far from the Tree does?
Sure. So Not Far from the Tree has been around since 2008. It's one of Toronto's only fruit picking and sharing program. So essentially, we pick fruit in people's backyards or on people's backyards or at different business locations around Toronto. We bring people together from all over the GTA to pick this fruit so that it doesn't end up in landfills, because we know that food waste is a big factor in the various elements of climate change. So in order to reduce waste, we're bringing folks together, and then we split the fruit that we've picked. 1/3 goes back to the homeowner or the tree registrant. Another third goes back to the 6 volunteers that are on that pick at that time. And then another third goes to any social service agencies or community-led food run programs. So that could be a meal program, like an after-school arts program, let's say in St. Jamestown, or food bank, food shelter, any of those types of great work that are distributing food.
Yeah, that's awesome. So are you just uh handing it over, or are you also in the, like, do you do any canning? Do you do any like preparation, or is it?
Yeah, like pre-COVID, we were able to do like pre-canning workshops. With like the last couple of years, just the way that the city has been, we've been able to give fruit to some of our partners who then run preserving workshops for either their youth or for their seniors program. So this year we are looking to try to support that type of work. If any of our agencies are looking to make preserves or have a workshop with us, we definitely love organizing that kind of thing. This year we're also doing a lot of tree stewarding. So we've been giving away edible native species to any of our service agency partners or just any community gardens in the city, so that folks can have fruit in their harvest every year. So traditionally, yeah, it's been a bit more of like just a direct exchange. But COVID's been a little limiting, but now we're looking to build those skills.
Right.
And a lot of our members have been asking for that as well. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff happening this year.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of what you do is outside, but and you kind of touched on like COVID, and we don't need to go there, but I was curious about what challenges you faced as an organization, or even you personally in your role, or take that any direction you wish to take.
Sure. Actually, when the lockdown started and all of the social distancing restrictions really came into effect, we actually saw our participation increase because, like you mentioned, our program takes place outside. So like last summer and the summer before, this was a great opportunity for people to be social, but also keep that distance because we pick outdoors, whether that's at a couple of urban orchards in the city or in people's backyards, there's enough space to socially distance and wear a mask. So we actually saw more people come out and participate in the program because they were able to be outside, talk to people, exchange their preserves that they had made. So it's been a pretty good, I'm not going to say the word benefit, but it's been pretty good for us in terms of just getting more people connected.
Yeah, you're growing as an organization, it seems. Is there any plans for expansion past Toronto, or is your scope solely Toronto?
For the longest while, our scope has fully been like the downtown and like Toronto. We're actually piloting an expansion into a couple of blocks into Scarborough and into Etobicoke. Over the years, and especially during COVID, we saw an increase in demand from like social service agencies in those two communities, tree registrants, and also our own volunteers who live in these neighborhoods. So we're really excited to pilot that this summer and do more work in Scarborough and Etobicoke.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is something that, I feel like every organization faces. They have something that kind of keeps them up at night, or that part of their mission or part of their values. What is that component for you? What keeps you up at night?
I mean, honestly, it's so funny, but it's not funny, but I think it is just the whole like fundraising aspect.
Okay.
Traditionally, like Not Far From the Tree is pretty like grant heavy. And so this year we actually launched a fundraising and events sub steering committee. So that actually is a huge like relief for me because we are such a small team. And I had mentioned that all of the grant writing is following on my plate, in addition to ensuring that we're, achieving the strategic goals that we have set. And we're continuing to just do good work and expand and really strengthen our community around the urban orchard and really bring people together after the last couple of years that we've had. So working with the members of the fundraising and events subcommittee, we're planning a preseason campaign. We're setting goals and actually like putting stuff together so we can build our monthly donorship. And like those donors, we're talking about what kind of events and stewarding initiatives can we do with our donors. So having this group come together, it was really kind of stressing me out just because it's a lot when you're a small organization and you really believe in the work that you do and you just want everyone else to see how everything connects and intersects. So it's been really good for me, like a great learning opportunity to learn from folks that have been in fundraising for a lot longer, or they've worked in corporate fundraising, or they've helped other nonprofits launch campaigns and stuff like that. So I found that's been something that is like really exciting, but sometimes also kind of, like obviously stresses me out. But like in like a good stress way, because I'm excited and I'm motivated. Right. And it's just also like nerve-wracking, right? Because it's it's like a huge piece of what we need. And so, yeah, that's been kind of fun, but also wakes me up at 6 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, we need those things. And also resent them at times, but it's okay.
But it's fun. And like, I'm excited
Yeah.
to like I'm excited to share our impact report
Yep.
with our donors. Like, I'm excited to meet people. That's one of the reasons why I really like fundraising and I'm interested in it, is because you get to meet like so many different people. Like, anyone can be a donor. It doesn't matter the amount you give. It's just, connecting with people who like support the work that Not Far From the Tree is doing. They believe in the same things we do. And we're all just trying to make the world a better place. When we see all this fruit on the floor, knowing that like food insecurity is on the rise, and just seeing the different climate disasters around the world happening. So that's, I think, one of the reasons. Well, that's kind of the main reason why I'm interested in fundraising, and really wanted to join like the Spark community so I can like learn from other people. I think that's so important. So yeah.
Yeah, you actually kind of just answered my next question. It was going to be around, what do you love about fundraising? Is there anything you'd like to add?
Not so much about fundraising, but maybe just a bit on like the Spark community.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned COVID and the effects. So like we're remote now, and we have a co-working space, but sometimes you just kind of feel a little disconnected. And through like my goals this year to like learn more about the different ways to fundraise and different like techniques, I found myself like joining different communities with folks who are in similar positions. So it doesn't make me feel like I'm siloed over here. Like with my subcommittee, it's like that's a group of folks that I can learn from and like bounce ideas off. Same with like the Spark meetings, like it just makes me feel like sometimes I'm not the only one struggling on this one thing, or it might not be fundraising. Like it could be, cleaning up our CRM and stuff, which is always a fun topic in our sector. But yeah, I find through fundraising, I've been able to like connect with different people. And sometimes a conversation can start with a fundraising ask or with that intent, but it can change into, let's collaborate on this program. Like, let's launch this initiative. And so yeah, I find it just opens a lot of doors. And if you don't put that foot forward, or if you don't move forward, you don't know what's possible. So that's one thing I like about fundraising, is that it can literally go in any direction. You just have to get out there.
It's a bit of a web. It leads where you don't know where.
No, sometimes you don't. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you're busy with, leading into spring is probably a lot of preparation, but I appreciate you joining us. And yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for inviting me. I can't wait to see, just to meet everyone else who's a part of Spark, and yeah, just keep the community going. So I appreciate everything that the Fundraising Lab has been doing.
Yeah, and for anybody that's listening, if you'd like to nominate someone or would like to come on here yourself and share your story, just reach out to me at matt@fundraisinglab.ca. And if you aren't a Spark member, you can sign up for free or premium at fundraisinglab.ca/spark. Anyways, great to have you. There's my little spiel.
Thank you so much, Matt.
Bye.